Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a detailed camera review of the new Realme X7. So Realme X7 is the latest device, the 5G enabled device with the Dimensity 800U octa-core processor. It comes with a triple camera setup. We have a 64 megapixel primary sensor, then you get an ultra wide angle lens and a macro sensor. Along with that you get a 16 megapixel selfie camera. So that's the camera configuration of the Realme X7. Now in this video we will be analyzing the camera samples taken with this device and see how good the experience is. Is it really a good camera smartphone in the 20,000 price segment? So that's what we are going to talk about in this video. So if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's get started with the detailed camera review of the Realme X7. In terms of camera hardware, the Realme X7 comes with a primary 64 megapixel Samsung sensor with f1.8 aperture, 6p lens and face detection autofocus. The secondary camera is an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens with f2.4 aperture, and you also get a 32 megapixel macro sensor with f2.4 aperture and 4 cm shooting distance. The front camera is a 16 megapixel in-display selfie shooter with f2.5 aperture and Sony IMX471 sensor. So let's find out how the camera performs. Now moving on to the daylight captures. Here you can see that the photos are bright and have good colors and decent details too. The colors aren't saturated for the most part, but at times it messes up with sky colors, making it too saturated. While the overall quality looks good, but if you pixel peep, you can see that the sharpness levels aren't impressive and it loses on the quality. Few aspects can be fixed with proper software processing, and we have said this in our previous camera reviews of the Realme devices. The ultra wide angle camera samples have decent colors like the primary sensor and a decent job in considering that it is a 8 megapixel shooter, but at the same time the edges are too soft in the ultra wide angle shots. Now moving on to the close-up shots. Here the phone does exceedingly well in bringing good details and colors are mostly good and does a pretty good job here. The phone also comes with 2 megapixel macro sensor, and here again it is quite good even though you can get close to only 4 cm. Overall we feel close-ups and macro shots have come quite good considering the price segment. Now moving on to the portraits. The Realme X7 does a good job in portraits with edge detection, but the skin tones are predominantly warmer. The edge detection is good and we did not see any major issues here. Now moving on to the low light images. The phone disappoints in this department with average results in low light. The noise levels are higher and sharpness levels are average at its best. This is where Realme should have stepped up the ante with better processing, as it has a decent sensor. There is a night mode to offer to improve the quality and bring in more details, but the results are again not the best in the segment. Finally, the selfie experience. The Sony sensor does a decent job in selfies, but colors aren't accurate and often ends up being a bit washed out in colors. The sharpness levels are good, and since selfies are more of a personal choice, we would leave it to your viewers to decide on the quality. The portrait selfies are poor in edge detection and often misses out on edge detection. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the Realme X7, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity is and also the audio output from the video. The phone can record 4K in 30 fps with stabilization being offered. The sharpness levels are good and the stabilization is decent, but the colors are not accurate and it has a tendency to saturate colors, especially with a warmer tone. There is no 4K 60 fps, which is quite acceptable in this price segment. The phone also supports 1080p at 60 fps, and here again the quality is acceptable, but the lack of stabilization spoils the whole experience. Also there is a bit of focus hunting issue, which is quite unacceptable for a 20k priced device. The phone also has 1080p at 30 fps with stabilization. Here again the video suffers from average stabilization quality and not the best we have seen in this price segment. The video is sharp and detailed, and unlike the 4K, here we don't see saturation issues. Overall, we feel the quality is strictly average for the price segment. The phone also comes with 1080p video for ultra wide angle camera, and once again the quality is average with lack of stabilization. The sharpness levels are also not that great. The phone can also do slow motion in 120 and 240 fps with quality being decent. So summing up, how good is the Realme X7 as a camera smartphone? Even though the phone has a 64 megapixel Samsung sensor, there is still a lot of work to be done by Realme. While the daylight captures and macros were quite good, average low light experience, selfies and average video quality makes the phone a big no for people looking at the best camera experience in the 20k price segment. Realme has to improve on the camera algorithm, which we have been saying since a while. So if you're looking for the best camera smartphone in the 20k price segment, you can probably skip the Realme X7 and look elsewhere. So that is the detailed camera review of the Realme X7. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the red subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.